Hi guys, welcome to the Sweet Connect conversations with Master Bakers. So this time we have with us Hemangi Sahare. She she is an engineer turned entrepreneur and is the founder of Soul Sugar Bakery and Patisserie, which specializes in customized cakes and desserts. She started her career as a business analyst and soon realized that her passions lied elsewhere. So she decided to take the plunge. She quit her job, went back to school, uh, learned baking professionally, and is now and has worked in several of the best pastry kitchens in Mumbai. So Soul Sugar is now 5 years old. She has made thousands of happy customers with her customized cakes and desserts. She has been featured in Maharashtrian Daily, Lok Satta, and Hemangi has also been a guest star on the show Health in 100 on Living Foods channel. In fact, I have a live with me right now, so I am just going to invite her. Give me a second. There. We have Hemangi
Hi.
with us. Hi, Hemangi.
Hello. Hi, Libby. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, you're fine.
All
If you
right.
could be just a bit louder, then we'd be good.
Now it's fine?
Yeah, that
All
volume
right.
is good.
Oh, sure, sure.
So, Hemangi, we're all here. We're gathered here to actually, hear about your journey as a pastry chef. So, what I'd like to know, I mean, you've told me that you were a business analyst and then you decided to quit your job and get into become an entrepreneur, basically. So that is a
Yeah.
major move in life, and it requires a lot of guts. So, what made you actually do it?
So actually, I'll just give you a recap. I was an engineer by qualification, and then I got placed as a business analyst. And to be very honest, I was never passionate about engineering. It's like I was good with numbers, and I didn't know at that time what I wanted to do. However, baking was something, since I was 16, 17, it was a hobby. I used to do that for my friends and family. And when I was into my job, one and a half year into it, at that time, my plan was ki, okay, I'll work till I'm 40 and then quit everything and do baking. But within that one and a half year of working, I realized I can't see myself doing this. Meanwhile, I had something which I really liked, which is baking. So it wasn't an easy decision. Now of course it seems like I just quit, but of course I sat down, I thought a lot, I wrote my pros and cons, and ultimately it was like, if you have to be successful in anything, you really need to love it. So that was one of the reasons, and luckily I already knew what I was interested in. So I finally decided to quit my job and pursue this as a full-time career.
So I guess that saying where it says that if you love your job, you won't work a day in your life is absolutely applicable to you. It's
Yeah, I
very
guess
rarely
so.
you find people who say that they love their jobs, and that's what you're saying. So that's great. So do you have like a business background? You have a family involved in business that to get into business it wasn't.
No, no, not at all. I'm a first generation entrepreneur. Like, not even in my relatives. Dur dur tak no one has done a business. Everyone is, working, and, they are into jobs. So this is like a total, I'm a first generation entrepreneur. No background at all. And I didn't even know any family, friends, or anyone into business.
So how did you prepare for it? Is what I'm trying to understand. So you must have done your research. You must have seen if it's a feasible market.
Yeah.
You must have felt out the crowd, the market, or whatever it is. So if you could just
So
give us a
for
little.
Yeah, yeah. So first, to be honest, when I quit my job, all I was thinking about is baking, the art of baking, and my priority was to learn, and then So in fact, after quitting, I learned baking, and then I worked. So this took like 2 years or something. It was only after that that I started my business. And initially, to be honest, all my knowledge came from observing other bakers who were maybe on Facebook or who I used to follow on Instagram. Maybe they were not even
Okay,
from the
okay,
country. And that was my preliminary knowledge, business wise. But later over the years, I also follow a lot of businessmen who not necessarily are into baking, but
okay,
I read a lot and I listen to podcasts. So slowly, the basics of business, no matter which business you're in, are all the same. You have to be honest, you have to give out your best work, then all those things. So slowly, uh, I started learning and observing everything, and learning more about business and how to deal with aspects other than baking as well.
okay. So you had a plan. You had decided that you would join, you would do your professional course in baking. Then you would work for some time, and then was this a plan, or it just happened as and before when you
So
quit
it
your
was
job?
step by step. It I hadn't planned ekdam elaborately. Very honestly, the first step was, like I said, when I decided to quit my job, all I was thinking is, okay, I want to get out of the field and get into the field I like. Then slowly, when I talk to people and I analyze things, I realized, okay, I need to really learn. And if I want to, grow in this and get into business, I need my foundation to be strong. By that
Okay,
point, I was just, I learned by myself. And so I thought I need to get my foundation right. So I took step by step. Then I made the decision, okay, let's go learn professionally. Then after I went to the course, then of course you get more information, and then slowly, the next step was decided. So I went step by step. But of course, the long term plan for me, was always to start a business of my own. But
okay,
but then I hadn't laid it out very far. The only thing is, okay, start karna hai business. To run a successful business, what are the foundational elements? So step one was to learn baking. Step two was to maybe get a professional experience, so that I know all the tricks which are there. Sometimes we don't know the tricks of an industry, so
correct.
how they handle stuff and all that. So that's what. So I went step by step. The vague ultimate plan was to start a business, but
Okay,
then
so
it
your
wasn't
end
like
goal was always in sight.
yes, but it
Okay.
wasn't like I had charted it out very, in a detailed manner. I went step by step, and as I went to the next step, I saw the further
Next
steps.
step. Okay.
Yes.
So so would you recommend that people should actually go take up a professional cooker, or being self-taught is also fine? Because when you go to a professional, certification, do they also teach you the commercial angle of it, or, in terms of how do you cost your cake and things like that? Or it is just purely the technical aspect of baking? What is your
No.
recommendation?
See, my recommendation, at least when I was there, I really, at that point, so this was, say, 8 years ago. This was 2013. So at that time, now, it's a totally different scenario. At that time, there weren't so many courses for baking, short-term courses, and there weren't so many, there are a lot of tutorials now, even one day for specific topics and everything.
Correct.
At that time, there was nothing. And for me, my plan for baking was long term because I had already quit my job. So for me, it made sense. But it depends on you. There are many people who bake, who run their businesses simultaneously while working also. So maybe for them, a professional course might not be feasible. As well as, now there are a lot more resources. There are a lot of professional institutes which even take weekend courses on some topics and all that.
Okay.
So I would say it depends on you totally, where you want to go. If you're dedicating full time to this, there are a lot of women who are moms who can't leave
Correct.
everything and do a proper course. So it depends, but I would just say right now, 2021, there are so many resources, there are so many great options that you can choose whatever fits your schedule and
Criteria.
whatever your interests are. And of course, if you have that interest and that thirst to learn, professional course or self taught, it works whichever way. So there's
Great.
no hard and fast rule. It depends on you.
Okay, okay. So that's great. And so you came up with the name Soul Sugar. What's the idea behind Soul Sugar?
So Soul Sugar, actually, there's a huge. I spent a lot of time thinking about the name. So there is this Greek word meraki. So the meraki means the soul or the essence of yourself you put into your work. And
Okay,
I really resonated with that word. Where I really felt that what I was doing, I was really putting a lot of my soul or my efforts into it. And but then of course the word meraki, I didn't like the sound of it. So then I picked up the word soul, and then because it's sweet baking, soul sugar, and it's also very very easy on the tongue. When you say soul sugar, it's very easy to remember. So that's why I decided to name it Soul Sugar. And the and I also researched there's no other bakery called Soul Sugar. There are other brands which are called Soul Sugar, but they are Soul Sugar, foods, or Soul Sugar some other business. But there's no Soul Sugar bakery in the world, I think. So I thought that's a nice name to have.
okay. My God, you've done your research. If you if you can say there is no Soul Sugar bakery in the world, you
I
must
hope
have
at least
actually
8 years
spent
ago.
a
Yeah.
lot of thought to Soul Sugar. And I'm sure the we can see your soul in your products and your baking. And I've ordered from you so many times through for Sweet Connect clients. So and I've always received positive response from all of the clients that I've ordered for you. And I must tell
Thank
the
you.
audience, I mean, Hemangi, she's been my lifesaver most of the time. I would go to her with last minute orders or crazy orders, and she never refused me. So, I
Thank you,
mean,
Libby.
kudos to that. So, Soul Sugar, how was the first year of Soul Sugar? What
So
was,
first year, it was full of surprises. Very honestly, when I started, I wasn't very confident. Like I was confident in my baking, but I was not confident that I'll get orders and all that, because the business side of things I had never experienced. So I started very slowly. I had a lot of insecurities. So slowly, I started a Facebook page. Then I started inviting my friends, and relatives, and my school friends, college friends, people who I'm comfortable with. I started, marketing or telling them. And that is how the business started. Then, of course, once a couple of months went by and you get the feedback, then the confidence grows. And very honestly, Libby, I'll tell you, we underestimate ourselves, or we even underestimate the market a lot. This has been my biggest realization, especially for someone who doesn't come from a business background. We think that अरे इतना competition है, इतने ही लोग हैं, but to be honest, that is a scarcity mindset, and it's something which we all feel. But then within a couple of months, I realized that there are a lot of people who need, who are there in the market to buy your cakes, and if you give the right quality and service and everything, you will always have business. And everyone, like people keep thinking are competition hai ye wo, but there's a lot of abundance, I think, especially in the food and especially in the cake market. So as long as you keep giving a good product and your service is good, that's what I learned during the first year. And from being very underconfident and not knowing where this will go, to actually believing ki, okay, this is working, and uh, we need to keep going forward. So
okay, so
that's
just
how.
from word of mouth publicity that you did, marketing that you did, I mean, you invited your friends and people that you knew about. So that's how your business grew, you're saying, and then it went on to other people because the quality of your
Yeah,
cake was so good.
yeah. I also networked a lot. Like I became a part of some networking groups with fellow entrepreneurs. I would say I would really highly recommend any business owner to hang out with other entrepreneurs, especially having a mix of entrepreneurs who are maybe even elder to you or more experienced. That also helped me a lot, because sometimes we have a lot of mind blocks. Like to hire my first employees and all, I had a lot of mind blocks. Ki, do I have enough money to pay them? Do I have? But then once I was surrounded by other entrepreneurs, they gave me their experience and their advice, and which changed my perspective a lot. So that also helped me, I would say, along with the word of mouth and the good product.
Okay, so networking with other entrepreneurs is definitely the way to go for any aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yes, yes. It broadens your mind a lot. You sometimes think in a very singular way because of all your experiences, and especially with your. I didn't have anyone who was a business person, so that thinking wasn't there. So being with fellow entrepreneurs, some of whom were much elder to me and had decades of experience, and they sometimes see themselves when they were your age, and they really want to help you out. So a lot of
Okay.
those advices made sense, and I used them, and now looking back, I think those were really good decisions. So I would
Okay.
really suggest that you mingle with other entrepreneurs, and it helps in many ways.
Okay, okay. So after, I mean, when you started off with Soul Sugar, you said you went on network and things like that. So did you kind of have targets in place, or you decided this has to be your turnover at the end of the first year, and this is where I should be, or so many cakes needs to be done, things like that?
Kind of. I did have some milestone, not for a whole year, but I kind of had a target. Okay, fine. At this stage, this should be my, a monthly revenue, because of whatever I used to calculate. So, Libby, going back to your earlier question, I missed saying this. Like in my professional course, yes, they had taught us how to calculate costs and a lot of commercial aspects. So, I kind of knew, okay, if I had to get a sale of this much, I have this much expenses. So, I have to get at least these many in sales so that I'm able to, sustain properly, give
Sustain.
myself a salary also. So, initially it was like that, okay, I need to make this much a month so that I can say it's a profitable business and I'm doing well. And, I'm saving a little so that I can invest back in the business. So that way I had smaller targets. It's only in the last couple of years where I started making yearly targets. But the initial 1 or 2 years, I was making monthly targets. This is where I want to go, and what should I do to get to that place.
Okay. So any time when you didn't achieve, I mean, were there periods where you didn't achieve whatever you had set for yourself?
Yeah, sometimes it took longer than the first months. The monthly goals, it took me some time. But to be honest, later on, after some time, kind of I exceeded those goals. So because that's what I said, like there's a lot of abundance in the market, and sometimes initially you don't know, okay, there are so many people who are there. If you have to market your product, and there's a market waiting to get quality
Yeah.
product. So once I started realizing that, and I started planning so that I reach those people, etc., and that people come to know about the products, I actually started exceeding the you know and of course there are times, like especially during this COVID and all that, I had plans, but of course the targets weren't reached. But yeah, that's a part of business. The ups and downs are there, but that's okay if you look at it objectively, ki kyun nahi hua. And of course sometimes our goals are very unrealistic also, ki seedha from A to Z you can't go. So if
Correct.
you have those targets which are like totally you're just
Unrealistic.
like, yeah, especially with the efforts you're putting and the resources you need, then of course it's difficult. But if you do it in a very proper way where you are very precise and I'm not finding the right word, but if you calculate it properly, of course it should be aspirational, but you should also reverse engineer and see, okay, if I have to reach this, what all will I have to do step by step, on a daily basis. If I have to hire people, what all do I have to do? So if you keep doing that, I think, and it's achievable.
Okay. So I guess patience and quality product is the name of the game, right? From what I
Yeah.
can understand from what you're saying. And you have to keep at it and not lose your focus and awesome. So how did you overcome this? I mean, generally, I mean, I've been working around with people. I've been working with a lot of bakers, but the general perception is, these cakes, these special quality cakes, they tend to be more expensive than your other basic cakes that the market is already used to. So how did you go about educating your customers that there is a difference between the quality. But on an average, a customer, I don't know if they would be able to differentiate between the two cakes.
What I've observed is, yeah, initially when there are new clients, sometimes there is that the initial conversation tends to go there, but once you assure them of the quality, and you kind of have to be nice and explain it to them, ki this is the difference and everything. And once they try it, many of them kind of understand the difference, and then many of them kind of know that it's worth the price. This is what has happened to me. Initially I had some issues, and in fact a lot of my clients who initially had an issue with the price, now slowly they don't even ask me. Now they just tell me, okay, fine, whatever, like just tell me how much I have to send you. So it's converted to that. So it of course takes time. But then of course, if the thing I like to mention here is, again, this has come from 5 years of running the business. Uh, you can convince people to a certain degree, and if they are willing to listen to you and they appreciate quality, then it's fine. But trying to convince everyone to be your client is not a thing which you shouldn't force people to believe in. You can of course tell them and ask them to try it once, and if they like it, then they can continue. But you have to find your target
Niche.
market, those
Yeah.
niche, or those people who want your quality. Like for example, there are people who appreciate a Mercedes. There are people who are okay with a Toyota or something. Both cars are fine. It depends on what is important to you. Like for some people it's just point A to B. Like for someone like me, I'm not into cars. Meko A point se B point jana, I don't care if it's a very. But there are some people who
Yeah, who want the
actually,
luxury?
yeah, so everyone has their thing which they want to splurge on. So if you're giving quality product, you will get that market which appreciates that, and who are foodies, who appreciate the efforts, the quality which you put into it. So I guess I would say, rather than convince everyone, you kind of you will find that kind of your target audience who appreciates it.
Okay, so
So
there
you
is
keep
this.
putting on good work, and I think if they become repeat customers, you shouldn't have this problem later on.
Okay, there's Sakshi. Yeah, she asked. I think she asked a question. But what to do if clients stop responding the moment you tell them the price? They don't even give a chance to explain. This is her question. So I guess you kind of told us what needs to be done, because then you have to pick and choose your customer. You know who you want to
Yeah,
serve and who you don't
yeah,
want to serve. So
yeah. So initially, I think that will be a problem when you are just starting out, and uh, because you don't have that many clients, so it affects you. But I would say just try to market and reach out to more people as much as you can with the cake orders you do get. Make sure you take good pictures, make sure you post it, so that you reach to more people, so that some of them will go. Even at this point, there are some people who will, you can always ask them ki what is the issue, and you can try to. But then after a point, it's okay. Don't feel so bad, don't take it to heart. Just try again. Whatever work you have to, keep on posting about it, making sure it reaches people, and you will get clients. And you will get clients who appreciate the price point, especially if you're giving the quality which you are. So I think Sakshi might be in her initial
yeah,
baking
yeah,
journey, so
she's
that
just
has
started off.
happened
Yeah.
to. Yeah, so that will happen. Don't be disheartened. Initially it has happened to me also, but slowly, yeah, slowly it will get better, and you will get the kind of clients who will appreciate.
Sakshi, I hope that answered your question. This is advice from somebody who's been in the business for so long. So, uh, when I was speaking to other bakers, now it seems with the lockdown in place from 2020, 2021, we've all been, the number of bakers in the market has also increased. So, do you think that has affected your sales, or it's the same? Because a lot of people are saying that there are way too many people in the market. That to supply the demand that is there?
To be honest, I don't think. Matlab, like I would have thought like this maybe a couple of years back, but again, there is enough. Like, see, for example, Libby, if we actually have to calculate the number of people who are living in your locality, like our population is not something which is and then you calculate the kind of people who will buy from you, and if you run the numbers anytime, you will realize you can't possibly even cater to all of them. Okay, so you feel that because sometimes it feels like there's too much competition and all that, but there are enough people who, and everyone has a unique thing. Like every baker has a unique USP or something. So the people who like your cakes will always be there.
Always like.
Initially, it does feel like that, but believe me, Libby, I was pleasantly surprised. Even though before the lockdown, I was in the business for 4 years or so, and I was worried like last March. We were closed for 2 months, and I was like, okay, this is going to be a difficult year. But when we reopened, the kind of, a lot of my earlier clients, the kind of support they gave me, I mean, I was surprised and I had a total 180 shift. I'm like, I didn't think that, people will support so much. I mean, I was thinking of worst case scenario, but that changed my mind a lot. Like, if you have a clientele who appreciates you and you keep giving good quality, they will support you, and there is enough for you know there is a market, I would say. So kind of don't think of it from a scarcity mindset. Just keep doing good work. Every cake, keep giving the quality, keep giving, and things might go wrong. I'm not gonna put picture give out a very rosy picture. Even how you handle when things go wrong is also very important. It has happened with me. Like, it's not humanly possible कि कुछ भी गलती नहीं हो जाए. But then you
Correct.
talk to them, you apologize, and you make sure that you handle it in such, and a lot of people appreciate it. I have many examples of when something has gone wrong, and the way I've communicated or handled it, they are still with me. And in fact, now there are some clients who are so friendly with me and everything, and I'm like, if I hadn't talked to them, or if I hadn't communicated back, or sometimes they won't tell you what went wrong, so you have to make sure you ask for feedback. And not everyone will give you.
Give
Sometimes you
you the
can't do
feedback.
anything
Yeah.
if the other person is not
Correct. Correct.
communicating, but still, from your point of view, from your side, try as much as possible to have that. Because I've had clients where something went wrong, they didn't say anything, then I took the feedback, and then I made sure that I rectify things, and then we've had so many years where they've trusted me again, and it's been going very well. So there are people who will be there to support you, so don't worry. Initially it does feel like it's like overwhelming to see so much competition and everything, but believe me, just keep doing good work, concentrate on what you can do. I
Correct.
would always say that just getting overwhelmed with the competition, you can't control anyone else now, what they are doing, how they are working. All you can do is see what you are doing, how you're handling your clients, how you're giving a good service, how are you thinking about how to serve best. So whatever is in your control, that's all you can do. So just concentrate on that.
Super. I'm sure all the bakers who have been listening to them have got awesome advice from you. Uh, and you have been, like you were telling me about these customers, so you would have been interacting with so many customers across 5 years. You must have had funny experiences, bad experiences. Uh, any experience that you can narrate? Just
A funny experiences, I'll say ki I've had many times when I know both the husband and wife, and they both want to surprise each other on their anniversary, and I'm like, I have to keep a secret and I don't know what to do. Like, isko batao ya usko batao, whatever two cakes. So that is a very funny thing which I didn't expect. And once something very funny happened. Like, there was a couple, and both of them, there was some occasion coming up, and both of them were like, okay, their friend suggested someone, some baker, and they're like, nahi, mere friend ne kiya tha. And it turned out to be me. Like, both of their friends separately had
okay.
suggested. So they were kind of getting into an argument ki, Are, मेरे फ्रेंड ने बोला है तो इसको ही कांटेक्ट करेंगे. And then when they kind of, when it was revealed who it was, it turned out to be the same person. So that was quite funny.
Awesome, awesome destiny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What? So what did you
So
do for
that,
the anniversary cake when they were both asked you to do a surprise cake? How did you resolve that one? I'm still very curious about that.
I didn't somehow, one of them found out or something, and then, but then there are many, one or two times where, I've done for both of them, because I'm like, I try to kind of make it different so that SNE, they both get, I try to, if I know this person has ordered this flavor, so I'll try to kind of nudge the other to try something a little different so that both of them kind of, yeah. But yeah, but then most of the times, someone, one of them kind of, किसी को तो पता चल जाता है, and then they realize कि अच्छा, okay, fine, and then they order one, something like that. Yeah.
So these are all the funny experiences that you had. I'm sure you had many challenges over the years also, even when you started off as an entrepreneur, even now. Uh, from what I understand, a lot of, at least the women entrepreneurs that I've spoken to, a lot of them say that they feel they get treated differently in the market. Did you ever get that particular feeling, or it was fine with you? Your experience?
For matlab, as a woman entrepreneur, generally, yeah, that happens sometimes, and in general, yeah, there is some inherent, kind of discrimination. You can't deny that. As a baker, I didn't think, because I don't know. I don't know any other. I've not felt that I've been treated differently in terms of cakes. But as an entrepreneur, yeah, sometimes that happens. But the best, what I think is, just keep doing your work, and as long as you don't let it affect you so much. I've developed a very thick skin over the years, and unless those comments or something are actively interfering in my work, then of course I'll deal with them. But otherwise, I there are many times, even our profession is such that, because I've come from a corporate background, I've been an engineer. Sometimes I feel that in India, the culinary arts aren't treated with that much of respect as much as they deserve. Now, theek hai, because of MasterChef and all, it has,
Correct,
become
correct.
better. But people think that, they don't realize the efforts required and
Yeah, they
everything.
don't
So,
realize this is also an art form. I mean, at least I see your cakes. I think
yeah.
it's nothing short of an art form.
Yeah. So what I do is, I actually have done a lot of inner work where I try to keep a thick skin and not let anyone affect me to that level that I will feel, very down, and it will affect my work. I'm just like, the work talks, and over the years I've seen, slowly when they see your work, they see, how much you're growing and all that. All those naysayers don't matter, and there'll always be people. There will be always people, even for guys. I'm not saying it just happens. Of course, it happens more with women sometimes. The general underestimation. These are all stereotypes, and I think the only way to beat these stereotypes is to just live your life fully, and to not
Let
what
them
do we
affect
say,
you.
let them affect you also, and by example, the people who see you, you're living a life which is not according to the stereotypes which are defined for you, and slowly there are a lot of younger people who are seeing you, then they'll kind of be inspired. I've been inspired by so many people who've done this before. It's all a process, right? And slowly it will decrease, hopefully, if we start living confidently, and not letting those stereotypes affect us, because then if you're letting it affect us too much, then it's almost like we're believing it, right?
Correct, correct.
So and if you know for sure that it's not true, then just live like you are living, and just keep doing and achieving what you're doing, and definitely all those things won't
You're
be a
definitely
problem.
an inspiration, Hemangi. Talking to you itself is motivating me. You probably should take up some mentorship or something like that.
I listen to a lot of people, to be very honest, Libby. This has been a journey. I mean, that's why I could, understand how Sakshi was feeling. Because when I started out, like I told you, I was very insecure, and I didn't know whether I'll get clients. And slowly it's been, especially being a first generation entrepreneur, there's no one there who you've seen. But then today in 2021, you have the internet, you have so many people who you can
Correct.
easily study, who you can read about. So I would just say, instead of focusing on a few people who will say कि ऐसा वैसा छोड़ो ना, देखो, like there's so many people who've done so many things in odds which are bigger than what you're facing. So I try to concentrate on that, because and then that keeps me, I'm like, damn, she did this and with so many problems. मेरा problem तो कुछ नहीं है, like very easy to deal with. So I've done that like over so many years. So now I'm like, I've become better. Of course, so you keep doing that. Keep looking up at people who who are an inspiration to you. Keep reading about them. And all these problems of entrepreneurs na, ये सब सबने face किया है. Now you look at Jeff Bezos and everything. If you read about him, all these small problems he must have also faced. Now
Correct.
it's just that media is so this thing in portraying the highlight reel, but day to day, like if you actually read the details, you'll know ki, so most of the problems, even human problems, are something people have faced for centuries. So you just read up how they've dealt with it. Imagine women weren't even allowed to study and get an education. It was because of those women before us who fought so hard that we are in this position. So we also have to kind of start living in a way that, we don't let the
So our
problems, or
younger generations can come up and
yeah,
look up to us,
exactly.
and they are
Exactly.
in a better
Rather than,
position that we
yeah,
are.
yeah.
So true. So what is next for you, Hemangi? Now your soul sugar has reached a certain level. What do you think for yourself?
So the next, sorry, sorry, sorry. So next step for me, I really want to take Soul Sugar online, as in like a website where people can order. Because now I feel that this is a time, especially. So, anyways, I had a cloud kitchen. I didn't have a retail for years. I was like retail, matlab with the internet generation, I didn't feel the need to have retail. And funnily, the lockdown and all has kind of what do we say, has justified all the choices I'd made. And now I feel even more confident. So that's why the website is in process. That's what I want to do. Also, this lockdown and the last 1 year, 1.5 year, first it was all about the clients, and of course it still is. It was like serving my clients. Clients were the most important, but for me now, it's also become about the about my team and people who work with me. And while I'm growing the business, I also, what happens is, you're also giving opportunities to a lot of people. And here also, since we are talking, the Sweet Connect session is for empowering women entrepreneurs. My past employees and everything, I've seen a lot of women who are, who are very capable, but they don't have the confidence. And I've seen people who work with me, I've kind of pushed them in a positive way, where I've seen they are capable, but sometimes they are a little afraid. But
Correct, correct.
I've pushed them a little, and they have come so far. And now I can see, in small things, where now when I tell them, okay, you have to do this and this is new, they'll be like, okay, I'll try. They won't say ki
Okay,
nahi,
okay.
they won't get scared. They'll at least be
Whole,
like, I'll try. And I'm like, yeah, you try. I'm there with you. I'll guide you. But to see that shift in them, where a little bit, they've grown in confidence, and maybe they're passing it on to other women in their lives or their kids, it gives me a lot of happiness. And I didn't, to be honest, when I started my baking journey, मैंने ये सब नहीं सोचा था. But abhi, when I see that happening, I'm even more motivated to grow Soul Sugar. Not just, of course, to earn more and to have a brand and all that, but also thinking ki how many opportunities I can give people. And whenever, in their whole lives, maybe, like you said, people, differentiate, or they say women entrepreneurs or women anywhere, they are underestimated. And what if they work with me? I'll make sure that doesn't happen. And so that is one more, what do we say, mission or aspiration I have. I really believe in it because it's a lot. Like if if you make people reach their potential, the kind of confidence they get, and of
Superb.
course it helps the business also. But they are in their own
Yeah.
lives, how confident they are, and they pass it on to their own circle. And if you affect, you know, so many
Correct. So,
circles are affected.
so Sweet Connect is also all about that. So I've also come
Yes,
across a lot of people. I mean, a lot of women who have a lot of talent and who are thinking they're still on the fence. कि करे नहीं करे करे
yes,
नहीं करे. So that's what we aim to go. You know, we eventually want to
yeah,
reach a position where we can not we right now we are dealing with entrepreneurs in the field of culinary arts, like you're saying for baking
yes,
and all that. But we also want to get into interact with other entrepreneurs, others who there is so much help available. Honestly, the thing is, a lot of
yeah,
people first they lack the confidence, second they don't have the information that is needed to go ahead.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where Sweet Connect kind of comes in and hopes to take this ahead. So I think our visions are somewhere
Yes,
nearby.
yes, yes, definitely. And here
So
I'll just
Hemang,
like to say, sorry, I'm Libby, I'm talking too much, kya?
no, you're awesome.
I just
It's been
want
a
to say
pleasure
one thing.
talking to you.
Thank you. I just like to say one thing here. The reason why people are so hesitant is because it's so overwhelming. So what else, I'll say is start with small steps. Itna because we think ekdam. That's why when you asked me, had you planned it out? I just said I planned the next step. Of course, I knew where I want to go, but sometimes we take too much pressure. Like,
Correct.
we'll compare ourselves to Facebook and Amazon and everything. You don't need to. There are thousands and lakhs of really well-to-do businesses which are maybe not that big, but they are supporting a lot of employees. They are doing a lot of good, and they are also earning a lot. So of course it's good to have aspirations like that, but when you think too much, so thoda sa it bogs you down and you don't even take a first step.
The first step. Always the
Yeah, so
idea is to
I'll
take
just
the first
say,
step.
yeah, just start taking small steps. I had seen an image on Instagram where there were two ladders, okay, and they were reaching the clouds, and one ladder had really huge steps and the
Okay,
other
okay.
ladder had smaller steps. तो वो smaller step पे वो बंदा पहुंच गया था, ये बड़े स्टेप्स वाला लैडर पे ही was still struggling to reach
Still
the first
struggling
step.
to reach.
So what you need to do is break down. Like, if see, not everyone has a lot of family money and all that. So start, like, start from, like, even I started from home. First, then I didn't invest in my cloud kitchen day one. It took me 2 years. Slowly I started from home. Whatever resources I had, you have the internet now. You can market. Imagine 20 years before, if you had to start your business, how would you have marketed? यार? Like, newspaper ads वगैरह कितने महंगे रहते हैं. So now
Seriously.
make the use of the resources you have. We have a lot of resources in this generation. Slowly karo, and धीरे धीरे your confidence will keep building. Then you will do more. So just start doing, and you don't need to quit your job also, like I did. You just do it side by side. Do it on weekends. धीरे धीरे. Then once you think, okay, I can sustain, then maybe do a job which is not very taxing, maybe part time and this, and slowly do it. I think. Yeah, that's all.
Basically, just take that first step and then then take
Yes.
the next step.
Yes.
Thank you, Hemangi. This was an awesome session. I didn't even realize. I know I told you 30 minutes. It's over 45 minutes now.
Oh wow. I didn't realize.
I didn't realize where the time went. It was an awesome pleasure. It was really nice having you here. I'm sure the people
Thank
who've heard
you.
us have definitely benefited listening to you.
Thank you.
I'm sure
Thank you
you
for
are
giving me the
definitely the
opportunity.
mentor material, I must say. I hope people look up to you as a mentor. I hope you get mentees soon enough.
Thank you so much, Libby. It was a pleasure, and thanks for inviting me. I mean, it's been nice. It's my first Instagram live. So thank you so much.
I'm glad I was with you on
Yeah.
your first Insta live.
Yes.
Great then.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Take
much.
care and keep empowering women and doing these sessions. They're amazing.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye. Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.